35 years later, a single call ended a son's decade-long search for answers when officers arrested Daniel Leonard Wells in the cold-blooded murder of his mother, Tonya Lynne Ethridge McKinley.
But I want to let you know that I just made an arrest on your mother's murder.
I'm sorry, what are you saying? Are you serious right now?
Yes, sir. Serious.
Oh my God.
I know it's been a long time.
But yeah, man. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm freaking out right now.
Tonya, a young mother, was last seen celebrating New Year's at Daryl's Bar and Grill before her partially naked body was discovered mercilessly strangled to death in an empty lot. After years of investigative dead ends, a single misstep from Daniel eventually set a 35-year-old case back in motion.
Don't you think that if you had sex with a girl, you were out partying New Year's Eve, you met a girl, you had sex with her, and then the next morning on the news, you find out she's dead?
Will detective certainty turn Daniel's denial into a confession and reveal the sinister motive behind this unthinkable act?
I can prove to literally 1 in 700 billion chances you were there.
It all began on December 31st, 1984. Tonya, a single mother who lived with her 18-month-old son, Timothy Davison Jr., in Pensacola, Florida, made childcare arrangements with her relatives. Later, she decided to join her friends to celebrate New Year's Eve at Daryl's Bar and Grill. Around 1:30 a.m., she left the bar, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. Around 5 a.m., a local family who was driving their dog to an emergency veterinary clinic noticed what they thought was a mannequin in an empty lot near Peacock Drive and Creighton Road. When they got closer, they were met with a horrific sight. As the investigation unfolded, authorities immediately collected semen swabs, head hair, and fiber samples from clothing, but couldn't find any personal belongings at the scene. Throughout 3 decades of investigation, detectives tried every possible method to find the potential suspect, but eventually, all leads were exhausted. Just as it seemed the investigation had reached a dead end, the efforts of 3 decades finally paid off with a significant breakthrough. In early 2020, Captain Chuck Mallett, who was leading the investigation, used open-source genealogical matching techniques pioneered in the Golden State Killer investigation. In this process, they extracted a high-quality S&P profile from the preserved semen evidence and uploaded it to GED Match and other public DNA databases. It involved building an extensive family tree, which ultimately narrowed to Daniel's lineage in Escambia County. Analysts identified Daniel Leonard Wells, a lifelong Pensacola resident, as the only potential suspect of the right age and proximity. On March 18, 2020, Daniel was finally arrested, marking the first familial DNA arrest in Florida's Panhandle. He was swiftly taken into custody for questioning.
In the mid-'80s, did you know a girl named Tonya McKinley?
Tonya McKinley, no.
Who was on Milton High School?
Tonya McKinley? I knew a Tonya,
Or Tonya Ethridge?
no. No, don't know her.
Do you remember her if you knew her? I mean, like if it was somebody you dated in high school,
No, I know.
you'd remember that, right? Okay.
Only Tonya I knew was Tonya Lynne. I went to school with.
Yeah. Or she probably would have been like a year ahead of you in school.
I don't know. The name doesn't ring a bell. No.
I mean, that's kind of who we're here talking about. It's going to be kind of strange if you don't know her at all.
No, I don't. I don't know her at all.
Would it surprise you if in 1985 were you in Collier County and got arrested for driving a suspended driver's license down there by Naples?
I was working.
You're working down there?
And yeah, I remember that.
Remember
That's
that?
the only time that's the only time I got a ticket or anything.
That's the only time you got in
I
trouble?
think so.
So on New Year's Eve, going from 1984 to 1985, remember what you were doing that night?
No.
What would you normally have done on the New Year's Eve in that time frame?
Maybe go out to Kevin's on the Playa or something like that on the beach. Or
Like to go out to the beach?
to go.
So where do you normally hang out at? What bars? I mean, you work for Chan's,
Right.
but you did culinary. Would you ever go to the bars?
Not very
In
often.
Gregory or on Davis?
Not downtown. No.
If you went out, you would go to.
Usually at the beach. That's where I'd be.
With Dan's, there was the one
Daryl's.
hotel in Daryl's,
Can't remember, there's one.
but they were all kind of on the backside of University Mall back then. There's three there.
You remember a third one back there? You remember Daryl's and Chan's?
I don't remember Daryl's.
You don't remember Daryl's? They're in the very back
I
there.
remember Bennigan's.
Bennigan's is the other place that's back there. Look at you. What would you picture yourself back then doing as a thing? Hanging out with friends, going to somebody's
Well, we always
house,
have
going
a
out.
group of people, yeah. I was never alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is anything that's talking about, old times and stuff, does that jog your memory about Elmcrest? About a house on Elmcrest?
No.
I-
Once I rented a place with, I'm just trying to think. I don't know where Elmcrest is.
When you would go
I
out
rent a
around
house.
New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
because you're a young guy, would you be out like looking for anybody, like company, a woman, or anything like that?
No. Usually I was with a group of friends
Never,
or whatever.
ever get lucky?
Yeah, I get lucky. Oh man, yeah. Back in those days, you could,
Yeah.
yeah, but I was usually out like
Were you adverse to like one night stands?
occasionally, yeah.
Because
But normally you'd meet somebody and get to know them.
most guys are not adverse that if you're at a bar and you strike a conversation with a girl and
Right.
she's willing, you're not going to turn it down.
Right. Yeah.
Girls might, but guys usually don't. And so.
Yeah, I had a few one night stands. Halloween, I can remember. That was out at Kevin's little Playa. Because we used to, you could rent hotel rooms for winter rates or whatever. And I was working out at Woodcraft there too.
Right, so that'll put you closer to that.
For a week or two, with a couple friends, we'd go to a place or whatever.
Still don't remember Elmcrest.
I don't remember the address. Doesn't sound familiar. I mean, the name.
I guess you've gone out.
I don't know her.
Don't know her at all.
No, I've
You
never
never
seen
had
her
contact
before.
with
Never.
Any idea what we're talking about yet?
No.
All right, let's cut the chase. So that young lady that showed you a picture of,
Right.
New Year's Eve 1984 going 1985. January 1st, early morning 1985.
Okay.
Was found dead on the side of a road. And I have the evidence that you're the one that's there.
Oh.
I have irrefutable evidence that you're there. I'm not doing all this
Right.
on a guess.
I hear
I'm
you,
not
but
doing all
I
this
don't know.
on a hunch. Dan,
Yeah.
telling you, you're there.
I wasn't there.
Daniel appears calm and insists that he doesn't know Tonya. However, the detective's blunt approach towards him indicates their certainty about his involvement in the crime. Days before Daniel's arrest, detectives had been following his car and found an incriminating piece of evidence that solidified their suspicions. They collected Daniel's discarded cigarette and sent it to the FDLE laboratory, where his DNA profile matched the semen sample collected in 1985. Now, detectives are ready to corner Daniel, presenting him with irrefutable evidence that will ultimately shatter his facade of innocence.
Kind of crime shows or just news stories about crime or stuff like that? Cold case files, anything like that?
No.
Do you know about DNA?
Yeah.
DNA is actually just as positive, if not more positive fingerprints.
Right.
So, I can prove to literally 1 in 700 billion chances you were there. That's where we're at. I'm not asking you.
Right.
Okay? We're not asking if you're there. Honestly.
It doesn't,
Dan,
it's been a one-night
35
thing.
years.
Yeah.
It's been 35 years. This is the first time you've probably talked to the police about this. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Right? Have you noticed anything unusual for the last couple of weeks?
No.
Nobody around you looked unusual, seen a bunch of police cars for no reason? Nothing
No.
like that?
Felt like somebody was following you.
No.
No, what happened?
The thing is that your DNA is at this site, right? On this person.
It is nobody else's except yours. There's no other explanation. Right? It can't be a possibility of somebody else's DNA. Your DNA is at this scene.
Dan, I get this is your life. This is probably freaking you out a little bit, right? But listen to me. There's a story here, right? And either you can choose to give that story about what happened, the chain of events that led to what ultimately happened as to why we're here, and you have a part to play in that. If you don't, it starts to look pretty bad as to why you're not explaining it.
I don't
Do you understand what I'm saying?
understand. I have never hurt anybody in my life. That's what's, I've had one-night stands and stuff before, but it's like,
Have you had a one-night stand with her before?
no, I don't know her. I'm telling you, I cannot recognize her. I don't know the name.
Dan,
It's like you went back to school days. I
the
don't know
only
anybody.
reason you're not telling us that you know who she is because you're afraid that somehow we'll find out that you're responsible for her death. We already know that you are.
That's
No
what I'm trying to
way,
explain
man.
to you.
I hear
Listen, just listen, right? This has been 35 years ago, right? This has been 35 years that you haven't had to face this, right? And all of a sudden, one day you're at work, you run your work day, everything's fine, you're on your way home, all of a sudden you get pulled over an hour later in this room and we're telling you this. It's a shock. And totally normal human behavior to be defensive about it. Nobody wants to admit, much like you sat there for a while and didn't want to admit that you had exposed yourself to women. We had to go through this whole process where you're like, nope, oh, well, yeah. Well, I did a little bit while I was peeing. And she said something, then I said something. That was it. Oh, wait, no, there was another time. We went through that whole process with you, right?
Right.
We're starting it over again. But we're going to end up in the same place because we're not here by accident. I'm being honest with you. I don't really like playing games. This was not gentle. This is not an accident. And if you're going to let the evidence tell a story, it paints a very ugly picture. Your opportunity is to soften that because we understand there are other dynamics that go on. We're open to the fact because we've heard it time and time again. We don't go into anything with a closed mind because there's been too many times we go in thinking one thing and we walk out thinking something totally different because then we hear the other side of the story. That's how we operate from experience. But I'm going to be honest with you, right? That's all I can do with you. We're following you because we need DNA, right? So we have DNA from the scene. Week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, on your way into work, you threw a cigarette butt out the window.
There's a way, you're on your way up to a shop, I believe, on Palafox. And you're driving from the shop up Pace. And there may have been a police car behind you. And then all of a sudden that police car stops and blocks all traffic right behind you. Remember seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you did just before that? You threw your cigarette butt out the window. And I was in that police car.
And there's two FBI agents right behind you.
And we picked up that cigarette butt, and we submitted it, and it came back as a match. So we know that you were at the scene. That's not a debatable fact.
I'm just,
Yeah, you're blown away.
it's just, I know someone I had with or what, but I have never hurt anybody. It's what I'm saying. It's blowing me away.
there's a couple different ways to look at it. I mean,
Right.
This was a pretty big deal back then. There's a lot. It's on the news.
I don't remember it.
Despite the detective's firm belief in Daniel's involvement, he attempts every possible way to dissociate himself from the crime. Sensing his defiance, detectives finally decide to make their final move. But will Daniel continue to lie his way out? Or will each damning revelation eventually reshape his narrative?
How can your DNA end up with her?
Unless we had I don't know.
I'm not asking I'm not asking you to theorize. I'm asking you to tell me, because you're there. How did your DNA end up with
her? I was with her, I guess. I was with her.
I guess, and I'm not trying to.
But I don't remember her. I don't remember the name, the face means. I don't remember her.
Yeah.
But if you're in and out partying or something like that, I mean, it happened pretty regularly.
So, would you think, like we talked about earlier, that there's, after 35 years, there's lots of things that are kind of vague in memories, except for the specific life events?
Yeah.
Like in 1986, right? 1985, excuse me, when the space shuttle blew up. I know exactly where I was standing when I heard it, because that's a significant event in my life, right? So you get significant events in your life that you remember exactly where you were,
right?
What you were doing when they happened. Don't you think that if you had the girl, you were out partying New Year's Eve, you met a girl, you picked her up, you were in the car, right? You had her, and then the next morning on the news, you find out she's dead. You'd remember that.
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would remember it.
So that's the most.
But I mean, I don't know. It's like I don't know.
That's the most innocent scenario I can give you.
Right. I don't know.
Do you think there was a time that you were, I mean, back then, were you drinking so much that you had?
No, I would remember. I don't forget. I mean, I've got a good memory.
Right. So you remember if you had with a girl the next day, she was on newspaper dead. Even if you didn't know who she was. You'd remember the next day when they put her picture in the paper 2 days later, go, oh my God, I was there 2 nights ago on New Year's Eve.
I guess I would remember if I'd seen it.
I'm just trying to throw some logical stuff there. Dan, I'm trying to help you out here. Because I'm telling you, the picture that this evidence paints is not one that you want to go out there without an explanation. There's room there to mitigate some of that evidence. I got a son that's in the Air Force. Spent 2 years in Japan. Now he's in Biloxi, which is just 2.5 hours down the road. We have a good relationship, but we might not talk for 2 months. Right? There's times he does it. We're like, hey, you're just a couple hours down the road. Are you going to come by and visit sometime? Because it's easy to lose that when there's a distance. But you and Morgan still have a good relationship.
Yes, a great relationship.
Can you ever come here and visit? When was the last time you came here and visited?
About a year ago.
Did you ever go out there and visit?
I haven't been there since he's been there. He lived there from Kansas City, and
does his mom live out there?
She moved out there. Yeah.
Okay.
She moved from Kansas City.
So we're not really talking so much. You haven't had a great relationship with your sisters for the last several years. Your mom and dad have passed. You got an ex-wife. Do you have a relationship with her? Or is it just like...
She calls.
Does she call you? Is it about Morgan, or is it just...
Yeah. Well, I talked to her. We've got a great relationship with his mother. Okay. My second wife, she would call.
That's good, though.
Check on me, see how I'm doing.
Yeah. That's good. That's healthy. That's probably helped keep you level these last several years. Right? That you and her can have relationships so Morgan can grow up and not feel some of the same things that you kind of mentioned about your parents.
I've always had a good relationship with my ex-wife, with his mother, and even my second wife, you know.
So what I don't think, and only knowing you is the last hour or so that we have spent in here, right? I haven't known you before this. But you don't seem like a cold-hearted person.
I'm not. I mean, I don't.
So I would think it appears to me that you care what people think about you.
Yeah.
That's why you're embarrassed about me.
Not really.
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I think we're all like, I'm not going to change who I am to satisfy people. But your image to Morgan, especially what you do, how you look to Morgan, is important because you're a good father, right? And you want to be a good father to him so that he grows up and is a better person than you are.
Right.
I think that's all our goals as parents. My kids, I want them to grow up be a better person than I am. And I'm sure that's what you want. I feel like you're the type of person that would want that from Morgan.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm telling you, very near future, right? When the story comes out and the details of this come out, if it goes out without explanation of what happened, right? Your story of what happened, it is going to be clear to Morgan that you're responsible. And without an explanation on how it got to that point, he is going to be left to fill in those blanks just like we are. Something happened.
Detectives confront Daniel with fate-sealing evidence, leaving no room for his fabricated lies. They gradually shift their tactics to emotional manipulation in an attempt to create a sense of moral accountability. However, this strategy finally tends to pay off. With Daniel's defense breaking down, detectives are on the verge of securing the confession they have been desperately seeking for decades.
I was with her and stuff, but I didn't give her a ride home. And there was a group of us. Oh, God. Because I guess she lived over in St. Richard County or something. But Bobby Hicks and a guy named Ralph James, they were with me. And there was a group of people I went to school with that were there. And we did have in the parking lot. Other than that, well, no, actually, it was at the house, I guess, too. Yeah, that's where John Pendergast lived.
Is that the house on Hillcrest?
I guess, yeah, that must have been, you know,
So
that's
you were
the
living in the house?
address I don't recall, but I would stay with him every now and then.
Was he out with you that night?
No, he wasn't. Those are the guys. They were. And came by the house, and but they left with her, and she wanted a ride home, and you know, we went by my house, and we had a few drinks and stuff, and it just escalated from that. She hit her in the head, and it knocked her out, and it was a traumatic blow, and it killed her.
What happened that made it get out of control?
I think we just got kind of an argument over something. I can't remember what it was.
What's it about her?
No, she was willing to.
Was
But then Ralph and those guys, they stopped by for a while, and they left. And
Or you had their
I had before, yeah.
and
We
then
had
she
before.
tried to withdraw it, and that's what led to it? So like in the middle of it, did she want to stop?
We had consensual and stuff.
I mean, can we be real here? Did she like comment on performance or something?
No,
Was it
it
good?
was just, it was, yeah, it was, but it was
Did she want to leave and you didn't want to leave yet?
something like that. I don't remember.
And here we go again. Well,
Yeah.
we're trying to give
Trying
you
to
the
figure
escape
it out. I
routes.
can't remember. I just know
But you're the one that was there.
Right.
So do something simple. You said you hit her in the head.
Yeah.
What'd you hit her in the head with?
I think it was a cutting board.
Cutting board?
Yeah, like a wooden block.
Wooden block cutting board. At your house. The one on Hillcrest? So you were just staying up there with Pendergrass? And that's where this happened at.
Was anyone else there?
Earlier there were some
So you
guys
say-
there, but then it was later on in the evening and stuff like that.
So Bobby and Ralph came over there while you were there with her? Had you already had her there then?
We got once.
Once.
And then, we were,
So then they came over, they hung out for a little bit with y'all, have some drinks, and then they left.
right.
And then you
So
said
we
y'all
got kind of into a little bit of an argument or whatever, and from drinking and stuff. It just kind of got out of hand.
So I'm thinking cutting board, you're in the kitchen arguing?
I was standing in the kitchen and she was
In the bedroom, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And you said once, so there was a second time. Was it after you hit her?
Yes, it was.
So you hit her, you said it was a fatal blow. She was unconscious at least. So then you had with her a second time while she was
Well,
unconscious.
not really. I didn't.
You tried.
We had at the end, and it was like I always couldn't believe what had happened, and I couldn't get her to respond.
So you stopped.
Yeah. I think I just took her down the road.
You think?
I took her down the road
And what?
in my vehicle, and
Which vehicle?
I don't know what I was driving then. I think it was my Ford. I think it was my truck. Pickup truck.
The same 150 that you got the ticket on South Florida.
I don't know if I had that truck down there. That was a company truck.
I know. So you think you had a pickup truck?
Yeah.
Where'd you put it?
Just on the side of the road.
I mean, in the truck. Bed, cab.
Passenger seat.
Did you wake up though? When
I
did,
checked her pulse and all that stuff, and I was just freaked out.
before or after you left her body?
Before,
How did you eventually kill her?
I think this strangulation. I don't know, we getting into it. We got a big fight.
Where was she at when you strangled her? Was it on the place where you brought her to, or was it the house?
So the house.
What'd you use?
Just my hands.
Now, you said that you had her second time after she was hurt.
I didn't.
I'm just trying to piece together the reason.
Right.
why you
We were
were-
going to have again, and we didn't, and we kind of got into it a little bit.
So it was over one.
At me, and so I don't know, I was just pissed. I hit her with it.
There's indications
Cutting
that
board.
that would happen after she's unconscious too. So did you have her after you hit her?
You said yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess yeah.
So she wasn't a willing
Right,
participant in that. But that's what the argument was about that led to that.
Second time.
But then you realized she really was unconscious.
Right, and it's like, oh my God.
So you kind of lost interest at that point, which was kind of annoying. So I mean, it kind of made me think that maybe the argument was that you wanted and she didn't want to. That led to the argument, that led to her slapping you, that led to you hitting her in the head, and then you had her again. Did the strangulation occur after that or before?
Before?
So hit her in the head, she goes out,
Right.
You strangle her.
Right.
right? And then you have with her again, at least partially. You try. You're trying to have her again, you realize, oh, she's really hurt. Take her out, you put her in a truck, you drive around, and push her out and dump her on the side of the road.
Like a bag of trash.
Daniel ultimately met the terrible fate he had chosen for himself. He was charged with first-degree premeditated murder and first-degree serious battery offense. However, on April 2nd, 2020, even before Daniel could make his first appearance in court, he was found hanging in his cell, ultimately ruling his action as a suicide. Tonya's son, Timothy, publicly called him a coward for taking answers to the grave.